What is going on YouTube? And welcome back to my channel, JoJo Speaks. Thank y'all so much for joining myself and Dustin for this being our review for 90 Day Hunt for Love, Season 1, the tell-all first part, the first part of the tell-all. Dustin, how you doing today?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, ready to get to this tell-all. And I have to say, I was very worried for Elise. I really thought that she was going to get the brunt of a lot of the aggression and the drama, but thankfully that was not the case. Although she was involved in quite a bit of what happened on this first part, no one was really like technically against her necessarily. So I was happy to see that. But anyways, a couple things I want you guys to do before we get started. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Press that big red subscribe button. It is free and easy to do. Takes less than a second to match that thing. Also, go ahead and match it for a brother. Also, be sure to leave a like for this video. Let me know you're enjoying the content that I'm putting out on my channel. Also, be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this first part of the tell-all. Let me know what your expectations are with the second part. I believe the second part will be our final part. I'm not exactly sure, but
Yes, final
be
final
sure to
part
leave a
next week.
comment. Yes, so be sure to leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on this tell-all. Who are your favorite couples? Who are your favorite participants? Let me know all of that stuff in the comments. Also, be sure to press the notification bell so you're notified every time I post a new video. So we start out with all of the participants filing in. And we start out with speaking to Tim, if I'm not mistaken.
That's
And
right.
Tim and Usman have a little bit of a back and forth. Apparently, Tim had stopped following quite a few people on his followers list because he wasn't seeing all the people that he actually wanted to see, which that I completely understand that. A lot of times if you like to follow a lot of people, but you want to see certain people's posts and stories and things of that nature, but when you follow so many people, there's kind of gets lost in the mix. So I understand truly why Tim did that, but Usman said that, he confronted Tim about this. And, Tim said that Usman was saying that Tim was not a good friend and all this good stuff. And, it got really, really heated. And then Tim ended up hitting the screen because Usman is zooming in for this tell-all. So the screen is right
Yes.
next to Tim. And so Tim just kind of bashes on the screen and the screen goes blank. And we can still hear Usman in the background, but his video goes out and they move the screen over. I had no idea there was all this animosity between Usman and Tim. It really didn't come out during the time that they were on the villa. But did that surprise you at all, Dustin, that they had so much animosity between each other?
I did not know that, and when it came out on the tell-all like that, I think that I was really shocked to see that part come out the tell-all. But I do expect anything to happen with these tell-alls. I really do, because I think they try to get as much as they can out of the participants when they film the show. So I think that it really didn't surprise me, but I was really shocked to see it happen like that, and
Right.
for him to do that on set like that, for him to do that on set, Jonathan, and actually do it on his screen like that, and make the screen went black, and it actually went, the screen actually went out on him, and I thought that
Hmm.
was pretty uncalled for on a set like that. You're filming a TV show, and you should be doing that on a TV show part. No, I don't like that part.
Right. I was noticing what Tim was wearing. First of all, I have to say, it did look to me, now I don't have the best eyesight in the world, but it did look to me like Tim might have had a little bit of makeup on. Now, I'm sure they put makeup on all of the participants. It's a TV
Yeah.
show. Of course, they're going to put makeup on everyone, but it looked like he had a little bit of odd makeup on, and it seemed like he had on like these gray leggings of
Mm.
sort. I don't know what type of material his pants were, but they looked like leggings to me. So Tim obviously has his own style.
Mm.
However, I'm not surprised that a lot of the gay rumors going around, of course, Jen spreading those rumors does not help whatsoever. But I get it. He's not your average man, I guess. I guess you wouldn't see a lot of men wearing the things that Tim wears, but he has his own sense of style. And I appreciate him for standing in his uniqueness and standing
Right.
in his truth of who he is and what he represents. Because I have a feeling that Tim's one of those people, like, if he was attracted to men, he would just come out and say, I'm attracted to men. Like, I don't think he'd have any issue with admitting to an attracted to men if he actually had that. So I just believe that Tim is who he is. He loves who he loves. Let's just let the whole gay thing go. I mean,
Right.
it's pretty stupid to me. In any
Me too.
way.
Yeah,
to
me too.
question someone's sexuality, especially if
Right.
you have no interest in being romantic with them. If you have no
Mm,
interest in them, then it's truly none of your business. But anyway, so
right.
we then move on to Colt and Courtney. Colt and Courtney, the way Colt and Courtney are sitting right next to each other, but Courtney is kind of like facing away from Colt as if they have some issues. I also have to admit that I wasn't the biggest fan of Courtney's dress, even though it looked like a nice dress, but I guess maybe the gold material just I didn't really care for it. But anyways, so Colt did move in with Courtney and her parents. I believe her parents gave him a 6 month deadline. I'm not sure if that 6 months has expired, but apparently he is still living there. Courtney says that there are really no issues between them. However, there was a woman who sent him some flowers after he had broken his knee.
Right.
Courtney had seen the flowers. She read the note, and Colt just said that that was a female that he was friends with, that she told about his injury, and they just sent him some flowers, and that was that. And Courtney also found out that Colt was in contact with some other females around the time that they got back home, and that caused a couple of issues between them. We also found out that Courtney and Colt have not had intercourse yet. They have had other sorts of sexual rendezvous, if you will. However, they actually have not had intercourse, and that's mainly because Colt said because of the medication that he's taking, that he's not able to get aroused as easily as he had been in the past. But Courtney doesn't strike me as the type of woman who needs sex all the time. You know what I'm saying? So, apparently it's
Yeah.
not an issue for Courtney. She didn't say that it had been an issue. Courtney said that, Colt had gone down on her. Colt said that Courtney had gone down on him. So, things seems to be going well between Courtney and Colt. Dustin, what was your reaction to Courtney and Colt segment? The fact that there doesn't seem to be any issues, although Colt does seem to be in contact with other females. What is your entire reaction to their segment?
I mean, I don't specifically
Dustin, can you hear me?
agree with it because yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you just fine. There's just a little bit of a delay.
Okay, I do apologize about that. I just thought Courtney and Colt, I don't specifically agree with it. I don't even like that they're on the show
You can
together.
continue though.
Because I don't think it's gonna last that much longer. So I think that they'll be better off if they break it off. To be honest with you.
Okay. Yeah, that's an interesting take. For me, as far as I'm concerned, with Colt and Courtney, they seem like a decent couple. I don't know if there's necessarily love between the two. I can't say that I
I don't
actually
see it.
see.
I don't see it.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah. I don't see like an actual attraction between the two, a true connection, excuse me, between the two. So I don't know. And the way that they were interacting during the tell-all, it didn't seem like they were necessarily on the same page per se, even though
I
they
don't think
were,
Ronald.
they were coming to Elise's defense later on in the tell-all.
Uh,
Yeah, they did
I don't think they're on the
come
same
to
page.
Elise's defense later on in the tell-all, but there seemed to be not much camaraderie between the two.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they are necessarily on the same page, but we'll see what happens, as time goes on. Maybe they'll appear on a future season of 90 Day Fiance, possibly 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, which is going to be the next series that we're going to be reviewing after the Hunt for Love Tell All Part 2 has concluded. But it's I guess nice to see that they're at least on good terms. Nice to see that they're not having too many problems or trouble
Too many issues.
in general. So then we move on to Tiffany. Tiffany says that she is no longer she's no longer with Rocky in a romantic setting. She says that Rocky is helping her out with her training. She's training and she's doing a lot of that, but she is in a relationship with someone by the name of Ronnie, who just happens to have the same name as her ex-husband, if I'm not mistaken. So that was interesting. I'm at least happy. Yeah, Ronald. Thank you so much for that, Dustin.
Right.
So I guess I am happy that Tiffany's happy. I mean, everyone deserves happiness. Everyone deserves to be happy. So I guess that's a good thing. However, then Carlo comes into the mix. Carlo comes onto the set. And, there's sort of kind of an issue with Carlo talking bad about the other cast members on the set. Also, he said that Tiffany was fat, and he said that Elise was dumb. And, they had the actual evidence of these text messages. And Rob actually called Carlo out as well. And Carlo is coming across as someone who likes to stir up drama, and it seems as though no one really wants to be with him. Elise actually said that things were going well between them for about a month or so, and then after that, she had to let him go. So Elise is coming off to me a lot more mature on this tell-all. I love that she's sticking up for herself. Um, there was of course the discussion of why it is that Tiffany has such an issue with Carlo and Elise ending up doing what it is that they did. We see Robin in the building. Robin says hello, Robin. Thank you so much for being here. Love you for watching.
Hope you're
Boo.
feeling better, Robin.
Yes, hopefully you've recovered successfully from your surgery. She says, "Hey fellas, hello Robin. Thank you so much for being here again." But yeah, I liked that Elise was truly sticking up for herself this entire tell-all. There seemed to be a little bit of friction between Elise and Tiffany initially. However, Elise did end up apologizing to Tiffany. I don't know why Elise felt like she had to apologize to Tiffany. However, she did so. And Tiffany even told her, "You have nothing to apologize to me about." And, Courtney kind of chimed in and said, why is it that you had all this issue when you're entertaining multiple people as well? So, if you're entertaining multiple people, why do you have such an issue with Carlo entertaining multiple people at the same time? That's what we are all here to do. And, Tiffany went on to say that Courtney was a dumb bitch. And I thought that was unnecessary, but Courtney and Colt seem to be kind of like on an island on their own. It seems like no one's really riding for them. No one's really close to them necessarily. So I think that's a little bit sad, at least to me. But Tiffany really stands 10 toes down on the fact that she had such an issue with Carlo and Elise actually hooking up. What was your thoughts on Tiffany's segment, Destin, overall? Do you think she's justified in feeling the way that she did about Carlo and Elise getting together? And were you surprised that Tiffany and Elise were seemingly getting along during this entire tell-all?
Well, I think that she justified in the way she feels. I don't have to agree with it. I don't agree with what she said, and I don't have to agree with it because I don't like Tiffany. I wish the best for you, but I don't. She's not my favorite on the show, and I like that's just my opinion on that part.
Were you surprised that Tiffany and Elise were seeming to get along throughout the tell-all? Because I was expecting them to go back and forth, to be honest.
I was expecting them to not agree with a lot of things, and I'm pretty shocked to see that they're getting along on the tell-all.
Right. Auntie Robin says down in the comments, going in for an x-ray, be right back. All right, Robin. All right. But yeah, I was just shocked the most about the fact that Carlo was talking so much shit about everyone on the cast. And even Cole was saying that we were close, we were ace boom coons, and and Cole is the one who revealed the BS that Carlo was talking about Tiffany and Elise, and he told Carlo that he wanted to punch him in the face. What was your reaction to Carlo and Cole's interaction with one another on the tell-all? The fact that they seemed to be such good friends, and Carlo was doing all these things behind Cole's back.
Well, I didn't expect it. I didn't really know what to say about it because I didn't really expect it. So when I heard about it, it kind of shocked me, and I'm still kind of shocked to be talking about it because I didn't really expect it. So that's how I feel about that.
Absolutely. So it was just an interesting segment, and once again, Carlo was very quiet throughout this entire segment, even though he was the main focus of the conversation. Carlo wasn't saying anything. And even Colt kind of chimed in and said, we need Carlo to, to address all these things. And, Carlo did admit to the fact that he was not a good friend, that he was talking shit about, other participants on the show. So at least he said that, he wasn't a good person for doing what it is that he did against the others.
At least he admitted to what he did.
Right, yeah. At least he admitted to what he did. And I'm believing the reason why he was so quiet is because he really had no defense for what it is that he did. He was caught red-handed. People had the evidence of the text messages that he was sending to other participants on the cast. And he couldn't defend it at all. So I'm glad that he didn't at least try to defend it. And I think if you're caught in the act, the best thing to do is let everyone, say their piece. And then you give your apology, whatever that apology might sound like. And then everyone moves on from there. So then we move on to Cole and Jen. And so we do find out that Cole and Jen actually did end up having intercourse while they were on the villa. I'm not exactly sure why that wasn't shown during the show, or even talked about during the show. I was surprised about that. And Jen and Cole actually admitted that they are still together, that they are communicating back and forth. I'm not exactly sure what country Jen is living in, but Cole is obviously in the US, and they're still in relationship. But when things started coming out about Jen not necessarily being the best person on the show, it seems like everyone was sort of kind of getting on Jen's back, which I love that fact. I love seeing that everyone was trying to hold Jen accountable. Jen was mainly deflecting the entire time, especially when Elise was trying to confront Jen about the things that she was saying about her, and the multiple rumors that she was trying to spread, especially about Elise possibly having intercourse with Rob and things of that nature. I'm surprised how quiet Rob was throughout this entire segment, but I think Rob is kind of accepting defeat at this point. And once again, like I said in our previous review, I'm glad that Elise chose Cole so that she doesn't end up breaking Rob's heart, because I don't want to see Rob sad. I don't want to see Rob upset. I don't want to see Rob in a bad space. But eventually, Jen said something to an effect that Cole did not agree with. And, Cole was saying, well, Jen makes up shit all the time. And so the host, which we have a new host now, Sean Robinson is no longer the host. I should have written down the host's name, but I'm not familiar.
It's Sukanya Christian.
What is her name again?
Sukanya Christian.
Sekanya Christian, thank you. I
thought she did. They call her Suki for short.
Suki for short. Thank you so much for that, Dustin. I thought she did an excellent job throughout the tell-all. Now, she wasn't really asking that many questions necessarily. It seems like Sean seemed to have had more questions during the tell-all when she was hosting it, but she didn't annoy me. It seemed like she really didn't have to do much refereeing because there really wasn't that much back and forth between the participants. But Cole ended up saying that, Jen is sort of kind of a liar. And I'm assuming that on the next part we'll get to the revelation of Jen and Rob actually having sex, and so I'm excited to see that. But were you surprised that Jen and Cole are still together, even though there seems to be some contention between the two? Because I was surprised.
I didn't expect them to be together by the end of the season, and to me to see them still together is very shocking to me.
Yeah, it was shocking to me as well. Excuse me, but once again, my main fear, going into this tell-all was that I really felt like Elise was going to be the punching bag throughout this entire tell-all, but I was so glad to see that Elise at least had some support on the panel. Dustin, you were having those same fears. So were you pleasantly surprised to see that Elise at least had some backup and that everyone really wasn't trying to get on her, but instead it seemed like they were trying to get on Jen instead?
I'm glad that they had her back, Jonathan. As you know, last week I was very nervous. Didn't think they were going to have her back on the tell-all because I didn't think she was going to have any support, but I'm glad she did. And I think that I like the new host better than I like Sean Robertson, so I hope that Sean Robertson don't do the tell-alls anymore. And I hope that Suki does the rest of the tell-alls. for 90 Day Fiance. I don't. I hope. So I think she's a better host, in my opinion, Jonathan.
I'd actually have to agree with that. It seems like when Sean was hosting, it was seemingly robotic. Like, you know, she did the hosting sort of kind of like a reporter, whereas Suki, on the other hand, was a lot more relatable. It seemed like she kind of fit in the group. Seemed like she could be on the cast if she wanted to be. And things kind of flowed very smoothly throughout the entire tell-all, at least the entire first part of the tell-all. But we'll see what happens on the second part of the tell-all, which will be next week. Dustin, why don't you give us your social media contacts before we get out of here real quick?
My social media contacts are Dustin Butler on Facebook. My Instagram is Dustin Butler 700 that's my Instagram, and my Facebook is Dustin Butler. Of course, I want to thank Jonathan for always being here, and thank you for bearing with me today because I'm using my phone, so it's kind of difficult today. So thank you for that as well.
All right, no problem at all, Dustin. You guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is WilliamJonathanLee@gmail.com. My Cash App is $JonathanLee07. That's $JonathanLee07. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us for this review of the 90-Day Hunt for Love Tell-All Part 1. Be sure to join me on Thursday night at 8 p.m. for my Hot Topics and Social Commentary show. We always have a lot of fun on those shows talking about the latest happenings and goings on in the world. So be sure to join us on Thursday. And also be sure to join us next week for our review for 90-Day Hunt for Love, the Tell-All Part 2. Same time, same place, same beautiful faces. But until then, we'll say bye for now, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful, safe week and stay cool out there.
One more thing, Jonathan. I want to say we have a tell-all next week, and then we start doing Happily Ever After, what I'm excited to do. I'm excited to move forward to the new show. So I'm excited to. I hope you got to do your catching up on your season so far. I'm in the process of catching up on my episodes right now, so I'm gonna get caught up the rest of this weekend, and we'll be ready for another day Happily Ever After. So everybody will.
Yeah, I'll have to dedicate either this week or next week to catching up on Happily Ever After. I'm not exactly sure how many episodes there have that have aired as of yet, but you know we'll get to where it is we need to get to when the time comes. But once again, thank you all so much for joining us. Be sure to join us next week. Love you guys for watching. See you guys later. Bye.
Love you guys for watching. Thank you for being here.